Hi, this is Dana Martin, and welcome to this Worship Keys video about dynamics in worship. I want to talk to you a little bit today about when you're playing for a worship team and the best way to establish dynamics. And what I mean by dynamics is softs and louds and everything in between to make the worship have an ebb and flow and not just be at one dynamic or one volume throughout the whole song or worship service. When you're a worship leader, that implies that you're leading someone somewhere. So you don't want to start at one level and stay that way the whole time. You want to take a journey and arrive at this place and then bring it back down as well after you've gotten to the place where you want to go. Well, let's say that maybe the piano or the keyboard is the only instrument. You're all by yourself. Well, how do you establish that if you're all by yourself? There are good ways to do that. You can take a song and just start out with a very, very simple intro, such as just quarter notes. Something like that. And then perhaps later in the song, maybe add some octaves. A little more volume. Gradually. So you can do it with by adding octaves for more volume or single notes for less volume in the bass, and of course just the way you hit it as well, adding volume or taking away volume. Well, let's say you have more than one instrument. Perhaps you have bass guitar and drums and your keyboard. You may even have some other maybe wind or brass instruments, maybe flute, trumpet, saxophone, clarinet. How can you make all of that work together and still have good dynamics? Well, you might want to start your intro with just maybe acoustic guitar and some cymbals on the drums, maybe in the bass. And so it starts out really light, not even add the keyboard until later, or bring other instruments in, maybe on the first chorus, and then you toward the end you can bring it back down again, and maybe start letting instruments come out again, and not have all the instruments playing all the time at once. Maybe all the instruments will only play on the chorus and on the bridge, and just have one or two instruments playing on the verse, or maybe three or four instruments, maybe piano, bass, and drums, and guitar, acoustic guitar, maybe just a little bit of lead guitar for some fills or something like that. But you want to establish good dynamics in your songs. You don't want to just start off at full volume and never have any ebb and flow to your songs. Another thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to play fills and not melody. You don't want any of your instruments playing the melody. You want them all to be playing, for their rhythm instrument, you want like a keyboard, acoustic guitar, you want them to be playing the rhythm, like quarter notes. If it's a lead instrument, say like lead guitar or a trumpet or flute or saxophone, something like that, let them play fills. Whenever vocalists are holding out a long note, they can play a riff, or in between verses, or during an instrumental time during the song. Play fills then, but don't play fills on top of the melody while the vocalists are singing. This is a worship service. This is not a performance. It's about leading the people into worship, and so the words have got to be heard. And everything has to be done with taste. You want it to be done tastefully. You want to be able to, if you do have several instruments, you want to take turns. You don't want everybody playing at once. So during rehearsal, establish first verse, guitar can play some fills. Second verse, keyboard, or however you want to do that. But establish it ahead of time and then stick to it. Write it on your music, mark it on your music so you know when you play or who is going to play fills on that particular song, so that everybody's not trying to play at once. On the bridge, you might do, if it's an 8-bar bridge, you might want to do the first half, the lead guitar gets the solo, and the second half, another instrument gets the solo or the fills. But you want to feature different instruments at different times. That's the main thing you want to remember here. Not everybody all at once. You also want to establish crescendos during the worship service itself, not necessarily just during a particular song. There might be times during the worship service after a particular song that has really led the people into a very dynamic worship time, where people are worshiping audibly. And what do you do then? Well, you want to bring it up and you want to stay on one chord or two maybe, but you want to bring it up as a crescendo and practice this. Practice this during rehearsal so that you establish exactly what you're going to do during an extended worship time like that. You want to crescendo with the people and encourage them to worship audibly. And then as things start coming back down again, you want to bring the music back down again as well. And there might be more than one crescendo. You want it to ebb and flow as well. Follow the leading of the Holy Spirit to know exactly what you should do during those times. So this concludes my video on dynamics in worship, and I thank you for watching. If you have any questions or you'd like more information, please check out my website, pianodana.com. Thanks again.